Beginners and Westerners may look at Buddhist practice as being solely meditation, but the primary practice of Buddhists around the world is actually the cultivation of merit. Merit is really important because it's creating the right future conditions that leads us down the path towards enlightenment so we can realize our true natural state nirvana, and so we can ultimately break the cycle, end the cycle of birth and death. So it's really important to Buddhists. But what is it exactly and why is it important? Well, let's go back to the Buddhist time. So during that time, the Buddha realized that not everybody's going to give up the householder life. They're going to stay laypersons. They're not going to become monastics. And so how are they going to practice Buddhism? How are they going to benefit? So what we see in the Buddhist time is really the first cultivation of merit. Laypersons were able to offer food during alms rounds to the Buddha and his followers. They could provide clothing, they could provide shelter. All these different conditions were the cultivation of merit by these laypersons. Now, we usually think of merit in Buddhism as being a purely layperson practice, but it's actually very mutually symbiotic. Now, when the laypersons are giving to the Sangha, the Buddha and his followers, yes, they're generating merit, but the monastics, the Buddha and his followers, are also generating merit, and they're doing this by reciprocating, by educating, teaching, helping these laypersons understand the Dharma so they can practice Buddhism as well. So there's this very mutual relationship when it comes to merit generation in Buddhism. It's not purely a layperson practice, but it's also a monastic practice. In our modern day, we see where laypersons are supporting the Sangha, their temple, for example, and in turn, the monastics are also supporting the laypersons. So it continues even to this day. Now, this is all really important because, as I mentioned, we want to progress on this path towards enlightenment, but as laypersons, that's going to be very challenging for us. So the generation of merit is helping future existences get closer to realizing enlightenment. It's kind of breaking up all these steps into a much longer process, but it's helping us cultivate these conditions to get to there. Now, how do we generate merit and what do we do with it? Well, there's three major portions of generating merit. There is giving, there is morality or conduct, and there's also mental development. And you can really look at the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path and all of Buddhist teachings as really the generation, the cultivation of merit. When you are practicing Buddhism, that is merit generation. Although we usually think about it on the giving side of it, but it's really all these three components. So as I mentioned, way back in the Buddhist time and even in our modern time, giving, charity is very important, very popular merit generating activity. And what it's doing, all this merit generation, they're all wholesome activities because they're all aligned on the Buddhist path. They're nothing that's unwholesome. They're all wholesome activities. So we're creating these right conditions. So giving can be everything from a kind word to maybe supporting the Sangha, your temple. It could be giving food to homeless shelters, for example. All these different things are giving. And that even includes if in your job. So like maybe you are responsible for taking the trash out or something like that. This is all merit generating activity because it's all wholesome. It's all helping other people. Then we have morality or conduct. And we can really look at the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path for this as well, for example, right livelihood. And so when we're looking at morality and conduct, we're not harming other people. We're doing things that are aligned with what the Buddha taught us and the Buddha's teachings. So this morality conduct portion is also very important. So on these two components, you see this with Buddhist laypersons around the world, 500 million Buddhists around the world. They are ensuring that they are practicing giving, charity. They are ensuring they're trying to aspire towards this morality, this conduct that's aligned with, for example, the 5 precepts inside Buddhism. They're doing all these things because they understand it is good merit generating activities, and it's also helping transform them as well. But then what about this mental development? Everything else in Buddhist practice, meditation, are you chanting? Are you reading sutras? All of these different types of Buddhist activities comes under that mental development portion. And if you really look at all these three things right here, you're really trying to tame, control your wild mind that's really causing a lot of problems. You're trying to break down this belief in a permanent, unchanging, independent self, which the Buddha says does not exist because we are ever changing, we are impermanent, and we are interdependent upon other things. So we are trying to just like clean this dirty window. We're trying to strip down this belief, and that's going to get us towards that path, that end goal, enlightenment, awakening, so we can realize our true natural self, nirvana, so we can escape the cycle of birth and death. So when we're doing these three activities, you are generating merit. And you can already probably understand right now, oh, I've been doing this, merit generation, cultivation. Or maybe when I'm meditating, doing that. Maybe when I'm chanting, doing that. You can see that merit generation is happening all the time. But this is why it's so important to Buddhists, because these three components are helping to transform you. They are ensuring that you stay on that path towards enlightenment. They are ensuring that you are practicing what the Buddha taught, the Buddha's teachings, the Buddha's concepts and beliefs. When we're doing this, we are transforming ourselves. We're molding ourselves basically to be more like the Buddha and his enlightened followers or bodhisattvas. This is why it's so important. Now, ultimately, you're generating all this, cultivating all this merit, right? And we may go, great, this is almost like coins in the bank, I'm going to save it. But what we're actually doing after we generate and cultivate this merit is actually give it away. It's called we're going to transfer, we're going to give these particular merits out. And why are we doing this? We're doing this because that's also helping us break down this belief in a permanent, unchanging, independent self, which a Buddhist says does not exist. So we have to kind of break that down. So transferring merit is extremely popular inside Buddhism, which even monastics do for us as well. So they often transfer merit to us, and in turn we like to transfer through our practice to maybe deceased family members or living family members, or just more broadly to everyone in general, or to everything in general. And so it's bringing up this well of compassion and generosity and loving kindness, all very central Buddhist concepts, where you are transferring these merits. So not everyone, not everything can actually receive this generation of merits. So you can also look at it very much symbolically in another way, where transferring merits, whether someone can receive it or not, you are doing it because you are transforming your mind, your entire being. It's so important inside Buddhism. So the cultivation, generation of merit is extremely popular inside Buddhism. In fact, it's the primary practice of Buddhists around the world. So if you're encountering Buddhism for the first time, or you're a Westerner and you're thinking, oh, I just have to meditate and that's all I have to do as a Buddhist, it's actually not true. And I'll give you a short story on this. There is coming from the sutras. Basically, you had two Dharma brothers, and they were both practicing in a different way. One was very intellectual, and he wanted to understand the Dharma and everything else, but he didn't really care about the cultivation of merit. The other brother was cultivating merit, but not so much on the actual understanding of the Dharma, for example. And so in a future rebirth, the brother who was just cultivating good merits, he was reborn as an elephant inside this palace, and he was adorned with like wonderful decorations and fed and everything else. He was a palace elephant. So very wonderful existence, but he was in the animal realm of rebirth. Now the other brother who was trying to understand the Dharma and everything intellectually, but didn't really care about generating good merits or cultivating good merits, he was reborn as an arhat. And it just sounds fantastic. Well, this is great because he achieved this level in this next existence. But the problem was, when you go on alms rounds, no one really wanted to give him anything or any food. So he was having a very challenging, difficult life. And so when he saw his brother from a past existence now as this elephant, through his supernatural vision, he understood, oh, that was my brother from a prior life. And he had this great realization. You have to have both. You have to have both merit and wisdom cultivation inside Buddhism. And so he understood that merit generation was also very important. So it's just not trying to have this cultivation of wisdom. It's the cultivation of both merit and wisdom at the same time. And you'll see this in Buddhism in different ways throughout all the different traditions. So that's why we want to be cultivating merit, generating merit, but also coupling that with wisdom. And you get that from your monastics, as they're helping you understand the Dharma and teachings. You're beginning to understand, you gain that wisdom, and you're understanding Buddhism and Dharma practice, and even why we're cultivating merit in a much deeper way. So cultivating both merit and wisdom is a very important dual practice, I would say, when it comes to your practice of Buddhism. But just don't go lopsided, like, well, I just become an intellectual. I'm just going to read the sutras and understand this intellectually. That's not going to get you to where you need to go if your path is as a Buddhist to reach enlightenment. You also need to couple that along with the cultivation of merit. It's equally as important, because if you look at the Buddha's aligned followers, you look at what they were doing, you can just really see through their activities merit, morality, conduct, just compassion, loving kindness. You see this in how the Buddha interacted, bodhisattvas, other Buddhas. We see this all the time. So just being intellectual isn't going to get you there. Do you have any questions about merit? I would like to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you.